Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. We've got some mods, some goodies here that have been delivered for the Tacoma. One of them I'm going to install today. We're going to unbox it. It's a pretty common mod, something I've done before, but it makes a heck of a difference. Let's take a look at one of these mods, and I have to say this is the most profound mod you can do when it comes to the sound system in the Toyota Tacoma. You know, the system is really pretty weak. If you've ever turned the sound to the back of the truck and tried to listen to it, you can almost not hear it at all. So everything is in the front, and most of it comes out of the tweeters. And this is the kicker tweeter replacement. It's a pretty simple mod to do. You just take the little side panels off, unscrew the tweeters, you have to pull the covers, put them in, and that's it. This is really the only mod that you can do, in my opinion, to the sound system in the Toyota Tacoma without replacing or adding components like replacing the radio, maybe adding an amp, putting a big old boom box in the back or something like that. Otherwise, don't waste your money unless you're going to do other things, because the only mod that makes a difference when it comes to the stock sound system is the kicker tweeter mod. There will be a link down below, by the way, if you want to check out price and availability on these. But let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to do a quickie unboxing of this. They always package these so well. Well, usually they do. Right now, all it wants to do is fight me. They give you some screws. You're not going to need these because you're going to use what's already in the truck. And then the speakers themselves. Now, the one thing that is already better about these, number one, you can feel the weight of them. The stock tweeters feel like feathers in your hands. Not that these are super heavy, but they do have a bigger magnet. They have the hard cover over the speaker itself underneath. They don't have the cloth speaker, in other words. And as I mentioned, they just plug in right over here with the stock wiring. You don't have to change anything. And there is an adapter, I've been told, too. If you have the JBL system and you're looking to put these in, there is an adapter now that you can, or rather have to get, so that you can fit into these speakers. But that's it. Pretty simple. Let's go over. We'll take some things apart and get these put in. Okay, here we go. This isn't too difficult. You really only need a couple of pry tools, and if I recall, a 10mm socket, and that's pretty much it. Now, as far as turning the power off, you know, there are airbags behind here, so if that worries you, probably should disconnect the power. I don't think I'm going to do that at this point because I'm not going to be jamming into anything, but always better safe than sorry. Now, first thing you have to do is remove the cover over the airbag sign, and it's just telling you there's an airbag. It's not, the screws rather are back here. Now, you want to just remove this 10mm bolt, and it's in there pretty tight. Something to remember when you put it back on, it was on there pretty tight to begin with. There is a washer-like thing here. You want to make sure if that happens to come out that you put it back in. Generally they stay in, so it really shouldn't be a problem. Now you kind of want to just grab, and I usually run some sort of a pry tool along the edge of the door over here, the plastic, just to make sure it's separated. It shouldn't be an issue like ever, but again, it's one of those better safe than sorry moves. Just kind of run something along there to make sure. Again, plastic, you don't want to use anything that's going to mar the surface. And then you just want to grab it and kind of pull it off gently, like so. Not difficult to do. It should just pull right out just like that. And pay attention to the little prongs down here. The hardest part of the whole mod is getting this piece back in the right way. Now, we've got to take the cover off here. This can be a little stiff, I've noticed in the past. This is where you want your pry tool. Again, these prongs under here, I believe there are 4 of them if I remember, they kind of point towards you. So you kind of want to pry it up that way. Again, being careful not to, you know, mar the surface. That's the whole idea. Just kind of pry it off of there because, of course, your speaker is right underneath there. And there you go, and you can see there are actually 3 prongs that hold this down, and in the back it kind of pushes in and then goes down. That's how we'll put it back on. And now we have the speaker exposed over here. See if I can get you a better shot of it. There you go. You can see right here you've got 2 screws, 10 millimeter, one on each side, and then the wiring underneath. We want to take these screws out and be careful. You can drop them and you'll never find them again if they end up down in the dash somewhere, especially with your socket. I did that in my last truck. I actually dropped the socket down inside, never did recover it. Now, the one closest to the window, I can't get my socket down in there because it's too tall, so that doesn't really fit, as you can see in there. So you're going to need a wrench, an open-ended or a box wrench, whatever, to kind of loosen that one up. So here we go. It's not difficult to do, it's just very tight. And there you go. I got it without dropping it so far. Now we want to go ahead and just lift that speaker out of there. And they typically give you no room to work, so I'm not surprised. And pay attention to the way the speaker's in there, because obviously you're going to want to put the next one in the same way. All right, I did get it out. It is just very, very tight. Now, in comparing this speaker to the other, I want to make sure I get it the right direction. Again, looks to me to be the same, just like that. I don't know if it really matters. I think no matter which speaker you go with, it's going to be the same. So I don't think it makes any difference. But look at the difference in appearance. You've got this paper cone here, and then this nice covered cone here. Much better. So to put it back in, we just need to plug it in and then reverse what we've already done. All we have left to do is go ahead and put the screw back in, and then we're done with this side. Now on the other side, you'll notice you have a grab handle to mess with. I'll show you that part. The installation otherwise is the same. Okay, as I mentioned, this side's a little bit different because you have the grab handle to contend with. There's 2 covers. They come off the same way as the other one, or they come loose rather. Yeah, well, they kind of flip up from the top, and then there's a screw here. Same thing down here. Let's see if we can pop this one open. There's really no if about it. I mean, we will get it open one way or another. And same thing, it pops towards the dash. There's a screw there, 10 millimeter again. So I've grabbed a bigger wrench because those are pretty tight. So we're going to go ahead and start at the bottom. Once you break them loose, they're nothing, right? There's the other. Now, depending, the grab handle will pull away from the cover. I try not to do that if I don't have to. So we're going to leave it, see if it stays. It could fall out. Not a big deal if it does. Just know that it does come off and can fall off while you're doing this. Go ahead and run our tool down the edge. Again, that's just to make sure it's free and not a big deal. And then just kind of pull out like the other one. Slowly, gently, lift it out just like the other side did. That's it. So the rest of the install, as I mentioned, is exactly the same as the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one in, and then we'll button this up. One thing I want to mention that I forgot about, you'll notice there's a plug down here. That's a sensor on top of the cover itself. So make sure you're careful of that. I think we're going to have to disconnect it maybe. I don't know if it'll clear. Let's see. It'll make it tight, so I don't know. I may disconnect it or not. All depends on your own personal install as to whether or not you want it in the way. However, I will caution you, if you do disconnect it, make sure you don't drop it down in the dash. Once again, you're going to turn a 10-minute project into who knows? Okay, got it all done. Got the other side and the grab handle back on. It was actually just as easy as this side was to do. I guess I'm getting better at it with repetition. Anyway, of course you can't see anything because the tweeters are down below here. But let me go ahead and turn it up for you so you can hear it. All right. Of course, I can't turn up the music because of copyright problems. But believe me, the sound difference is amazing. This is the best, the only really sound mod you can do with a stock Tacoma without changing out components and adding pieces and stuff like that. It is awesome. Well worth it. Again, there'll be a link down below if you want to check out price and availability. But I highly recommend this if you just want to enjoy the tunes a little bit more in your Tacoma without having to spend a bunch of money or do some big install with the audio system. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know if you've done this mod before, especially. What did you notice about the difference? And is it that profound? I'd be curious to know what you think. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels, Mod Driven, all about the Honda Civic, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.